Welcome to Psychology of Us. Today we're exploring what it really means to balance success and fulfillment, and how the hardest challenges in life often shape not only our careers, but who we become. Our guest Nevena is a passionate speech pathologist, entrepreneur, and mother of two. Nevena Graovac is a speech pathologist and multi-passionate entrepreneur who has built her career around helping children and families. She's the founder and director of Therapy Talks, a leading private paediatric speech pathology clinic in Melbourne that has supported hundreds of children to become school-ready. With over 14 years of clinical experience, Nevena combines her expertise as a therapist with her lived experience as a mum to create practical, real-world solutions for parents. Beyond her clinic, Nevena is the creator of School Ready in 15, an online parent program designed to make school readiness simple and achievable through everyday micro-learning moments. She is also the host of the Energised CEO Podcast, where she mentors allied health founders to scale beyond one-to-one therapy, build thriving businesses, and create a life of freedom and impact. Her focus is on connection, everyday learning, and growth that creates lasting impact within our homes and in business. And her story is so powerful because her professional journey and her personal journey are deeply intertwined. In this episode, we'll talk with Nevena about what it means to align your life with who you truly are, why fulfillment matters as much as success, and how supporting children through both academic and emotional readiness can transform their futures. So let's begin this important conversation and welcome Nevena to the studio.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
It's a great pleasure to have you here. We'll start from that conversation about fulfillment and success. And how did you come to that realization that being successful for you, it's not enough?
So for quite a while in my career and in my business journey, I was chasing success that I thought was what I needed to chase. Success, or what I thought looked like success in my career and what it would mean for me as a clinic owner. And it took 3 or 4 years and I realized that I have never been more unfulfilled, and I was striving for something that just was not making me happy. But I thought that other people were doing it who were more advanced than I was, who were further along in their journey than I was, and that's what I also needed to do. But it wasn't for me, and it wasn't satisfying me and making me happy. So I then turned and asked myself the question of what is it that I want, who am I, and what changes do I want to make? And that's when things started to shift for me. So I think it's really important to always ask yourself those questions first before trying to replicate what somebody else is doing that may be a little bit further ahead than you.
Interesting, that perspective you shared, Nevena, is how do you know that voice inside of you is real? Because so many people don't trust that intuition, or they think, I can't do this, I am just really bounded by social constructs, or as you said, what people tell me to do, or I really don't feel fulfilled.
I think learning to trust, and something that I've had to do is learning to trust and trust yourself first before anybody else. Learning to trust and listen to your own intuition. And I know that it sounds almost cliche, but the way that I learned to do that was through journaling. So before I go and ask for the opinion or the validation of somebody else, whether that be a business mentor or a coach or a friend or a family or my husband, I ask myself those questions. If I'm not sure about something, if I don't know what I want, where I'm going, or how I'm going to do something, I will sit down and I will journal on it. And 9.5 times out of 10, my intuition is always right. So learning to trust that, and the first time it works out, you build a bit more trust. Then you do it again, and then you build more trust. So just even starting with very small things throughout your day, we all do it, and we all every now and again say, "Oh, I knew that was going to happen." That's your intuition talking. So just learning to listen a little bit more deeply.
Yeah, trust in yourself, and starting small and building that.
Just build, both personally in your life and, in business. So both of those are really important, but trust in that gut instinct and where you're going.
So how did you come to that realization, Nevena? How did you become aware that's what you need to do, that listen to your inner voice and not let's say, listen to someone else or, go through that journey?
I think because I was doing something, and this was business related, and I was striving for a goal, a very big, audacious goal, but yet I found myself just so unhappy and so unfulfilled. I wasn't waking up, wanting to wake up anymore, and that's not who I was. And I just had to stop one day and think, what is going on? Because the project itself that we were working on also wasn't going where we wanted it to go. And I needed to just take a moment, step away and think, what is going on and how can we solve this problem? And I realized it was an internal problem. I just wasn't happy. And because I wasn't happy, nothing else around me was working out. So that was where the penny dropped for me.
So like that internal indicator that, okay, I'm not feeling, I don't know what it is.
I don't know where it is. I don't want to, I'm going to bed, not feeling satisfied with my day. Things aren't working out. That whole idea of when you say, oh, everything is going wrong, everything is turning upside down, and really working out what is it that I'm striving for and why? What's the change that I'm wanting to make with this particular project or the impact? And I found it really difficult to answer those questions because that goal wasn't really what I wanted. It was what everybody else was doing. And I was trying to be them because I thought that's what would also make me successful. And it couldn't have been further from the truth.
And still, you are very successful with your practice. And could you tell us a bit more about your therapeutic practice and especially that Readiness program?
Yeah, so we run a therapy talk speech pathology out in the western suburbs of Melbourne. We've been there for nearly coming on 15 years. So we predominantly support families, the children and the family as a unit to prepare and to get ready for school. We do that through our individualised one-on-one therapy, but coming out of COVID where we had over 250 families sitting on our wait list. That is
250 families.
250.
That's how many?
It was enormous. And at that point, the wait list was about 12 to 18 months long.
So there is no way to finish
any program. There was no way.
Will start.
There was no way that families could get access to speech pathology services before their child started school. And there wasn't a day that went by that I didn't have a mum on the phone in tears pleading to please just accept her child. Now, on the other side, not only was I a therapist and a business owner, but I was also a mum, and I had my son then who was at that same age group and who had just received his funding. And I remember sitting in the car calling about 15 clinics around us, and I wasn't able to get him into any one of those. So that's when I realised we have a problem and we need to be the solution. So that's where my school readiness program was birthed and where it came from. It was to give my son access to something that he couldn't get at that time, and also to be able to support so many of those families on that wait list while they waited for one-on-one intervention.
And what exactly that school readiness programs gives us? Is it emotional readiness? Is it academic readiness?
It is a blend of all of those because all of those areas are incredibly important for a child starting school. So we blend speech pathology practices together with the Australian curriculum learning expectations and standards. So the program was also developed in conjunction with a school teacher. So we'll look at all of your oral language skills that speech pathologists would work on, as well as all the key learning areas from the Australian curriculum. So numeracy, literacy, personal and social capabilities, and a really, really big one is independence. A child's independence we have found to be one of the most critical skills for their confidence when they start school.
It's so very important. It's such a big milestone for both parents and the child to start school. So being independent and being able to do some things. And you mentioned before as well that somehow in your therapy you recreate those scenarios so the children become familiar before they go to school. How does that work, Nevena?
So, well, even just from the setting itself. So we've set up a classroom in our clinic so that the children become familiar with the environment, their surroundings, with the routine, the transitions that would typically happen in a classroom from mat time to tabletop activities, the morning daily routine. So all of those things for them become very routine, very standard and very familiar and comfortable, so that when children start school, even on their first day, it's not an anxiety-provoking experience. When they walk into that classroom, they've already learned to hang their own bag up, to unzip, to take the things that they need out for the day, to go, and they know they need to then start their day by sitting on the mat. So it just creates a lot more confidence for the child, but it also for the parent. Seeing their child walk into a classroom for the first time, confident, just relieves so much anxiety that most parents usually have on that first day.
Definitely.
So as much as, we're there to support the children themselves, it's really for the families and for the parents as well, for sure.
That's definitely a wonderful practice, and it definitely helps, so many families and so many parents.
Absolutely.
In those moments of anxiety.
Yeah, and look, we're, with the parent side, we're really starting to see that the difference is made when the parents are involved. So that's where the School Ready in 15 parent program has come in, is that we've had the opportunity to work with the children in clinic, and now we want to create an opportunity to reach more families in Australia who aren't able to come and visit us in clinic, who don't live near us, to really be able to support and work with more families and parents themselves, because there are no better teachers for a child than their own parents.
And distance is a big factor,
Absolutely.
And most people are time poor to bring, to another activity.
And finances and money, and so we don't want to be geographically bound by. We can see the program works; it creates great outcomes. So we would love to be able to extend that reach and that support to as many families as we possibly can.
Wonderful. And Nevena, yes, you definitely sounds like you're fulfilled in what you're doing now, and it's very rewarding. But still, it's a business. It's your mother of two. You have it all. How?
There is no perfect answer for how to do it all. There is never a perfect opportunity.
Can we have balance in life?
There is no such thing as balance in life, is what I say. There is no balance that I think that we should be striving for. Balance meaning two equal things, and I don't think on any given day you can do business and be a mum equally as well. Instead, what I really like to strive for is integration.
Integration.
So how can I integrate my work together with my family life, and how can I make that happen together is what I prefer to strive for.
Any practical example of that, Nevena?
Yeah, absolutely. So I love to bake and cook. It's one of my favourite things that I love to do. So I have integrated that in my school readiness program. So in clinic, in our groups, we will bake. We will bake and we will aim to make different foods from different cultures, because a lot of our children come from various backgrounds. My children are involved. They come into clinic on school holidays. They have helped move between our clinics. So really integrating what you do every day together with your family to bring them along on the journey together is what's working at the moment.
Yeah, so it's hands-on experience. Absolutely. And integrating it through the practical solutions.
Yeah,
and just theory.
Absolutely. And, having my daughter not long ago say, Mum, I want to start a business. What can I do? And I think this is fabulous.
This is definitely fabulous.
Is working.
And also you mentioned, Nevena, that about multicultural families, and they're coming from different ethnical backgrounds. Yeah. However, one common ground for everyone is the same language. How do you integrate all these things in your approach?
So in our clinical work, and being of an ethnic background as well, I came here when I was 5, parents who didn't speak English at the time. So I think I have, that real personal understanding of what that can look like in a family's home. And it can be very difficult for parents who speak a different language to even access the same level of healthcare, just simply because they don't speak the language, so the language barrier. So when we have families in clinic who speak another language at home, I think it's really important when we're sitting and setting goals for this family to take their culture, their heritage, their traditions, their values, their language system into account as well when we set these goals too, because a lot of the principles and home practice activities that we can provide as therapists should be there to facilitate not only the English language, but also the native language at home and the overall experience for the family at home. So that's something that we really strive to do.
I've heard, Nevena, that lots of people say that, having native language that will prevent them from learning the English language?
Yeah. So at the moment, yes, so many families come to us with that question, should we stop speaking our language at home because the child does...
What would be your expert answer?
Absolutely no. Absolutely no. There is no clinical evidence at the moment that anybody is aware of to show that. So children who are bilingual do actually develop more advanced cognitive skills. So if you have the opportunity and if you are privileged enough to speak another language at home, home, then please expose your children to this without a shadow of a doubt.
That's wonderful because yes, lots of people doubt, what they should do, and now it's very clear, as you said, there is research behind it.
Definitely.
And it boosts IQ as well.
Yeah, always good to know.
Very good. Nevena, that was very inspirational conversation. I'm sure lots of family would love to join this program in online or in person. In the end of the session, if there is one lesson you would like every parent, professional or person, listening today to take away about redefining success and finding that fulfillment, perhaps they're doubting themselves or not sure where to take next step.
I think that it is so important, whether you're a professional or a parent, is to do the things that you really love, the things that fulfill you, the things that make you happy. Because life is full of ups and downs. No matter what path you're on or what you choose to do, there will be problems that arise. But I think if you are doing something that personally inspires you, motivates you, and makes you happy, then any problem that comes up, you will be much better equipped to resolve. So what I love to say is do the things that you love to do so that every day you get to do what you love.
That's very important message. And also I love that you said that it shouldn't be easy or it's not easy.
No.
It's very bumpy, but having that happiness and internal, I'd say, foundation, of knowing who you are, what you're doing, that you're doing what you love and being fulfilled helps you to go through all these ups and downs. Absolutely,
100%. Life is full of ups and downs, and I think we need to learn to embrace those, but we need to, do the things that we really want to be doing, not because anybody else is doing them.
Like many of us, there was a stage in Nevena's life when she poured enormous energy into chasing traditional measures of success. She invested time, money, and effort into building a life that looked successful from the outside. But there came a turning point, the realization that success without fulfillment is not enough. That awakening reshaped her work, her values, and her mission. Today, her message is simple yet profound. You have to learn who you are. Would you say that the first step, to even understand that it's
put their own bag on, take out their own lunchbox and navigate snack time independently, and all of those seemingly small but incredibly crucial